Hey everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com and welcome back. Today we're going to be opening up the Potomac Bead subscription box for March 2023, and this is the Treasure Edition. So it's the smaller version of their box, which they recently revamped at the beginning of this year. I have a link right down below the video that'll take you right to their subscription sign up page, where you can also find out all the details about what types of things are included and the cost and everything else you need to know. They also have a larger subscription, which includes at least 2 kits every month and the materials that you need to make the projects with those kits, along with the patterns, of course. So that's another option for you. But for this Treasure Edition, this one comes with a number of items that you can use, whether you want to combine them together from the same box to come up with something, because Potomac Beads does have projects to go along with everything they're including, or you can combine these items with things from your stash that you already have and create something new that way. So these monthly boxes come in a reusable container, just like you see here. And this one's actually a little bit different for the month, which is pretty cool. I have to say, I did peek at what was going on with this one because I saw some of these metallic rivets right on the side, which was something that I don't usually see on the Potomac boxes. And the reason that is there is because, we'll open it up this way, ta-da! I think that is really a cool concept. So you can see the rings here. And as you may gather from that, they are suggesting that you can use this as a pattern binder or a way to store some of your design ideas together in a handy box-like package. We'll look at all the contents in just a moment, but first we see our insert for the month. It says that our theme is called Dark Night, inspired by the calm night sky with deep blues and hints of light. That is the basis for what we are going to be looking at. And then, of course, on the back of that sheet, we have the full listing of everything that's included. Potomac Beads is also a pretty sizable online bead shop, so there's lots of these items that you can go back and purchase separately if you'd like to, in other colors and a whole lot more. So here's the information that they have printed on the insert to give you a suggestion about this binder. Like I said, you can use it for your pattern, just punch a couple holes in the top, make notes or draw out additional designs while keeping your papers handy, contained, and visible. And then it says collect additional helpful inserts and grow your collection of printed resources. Hint, hint, more resources to come. So it looks like they may be including some more inserts that we could add to our best bead box binder over time, which is good to know. So a sneak peek at our contents. This is how everything is packaged up before we get into it. And of course, we want to get a close-up look at everything. So I'm going to get organized and then we'll go down the list one at a time. In our first bag, we are going to be taking a look at a strand of the 4mm Potomac Beads pearls. This is a 10-inch long strand, and the color is called Moonstone. Here is a close-up look. They have a greenish or teal-like color, which is beautiful. Adds a little bit of that green tone to the palette we're going to see, which contains a lot of blue and also some black and silver. And I do really enjoy working with the Potomac pearls. I know it's their brand, but I find them to be decent quality. You can see they have that satiny finish and the coating that's intact. By the way, this is a new bracelet that I shared last month from the contents of the February box. This is a project you can find the tutorial for called the Dancing Diamonds bracelet. And this one actually incorporates the 4mm size Potomac Beads pearls as well. You can see those pink ones underneath there. So that's an example for you of some of those in use. In our next bag, we have a selection of 4 of the check glass Buddha beads. And this selection has a cornflower blue color, and you can see that gold wash that's bringing out the details. I have 2 of them turned on one side and 2 of them turned on the other, just so you can see all the different details. Just another one of the vast array of check glass pressed bead shapes like this that have a lot of different intricacies to their designs. We also have two different sizes of high quality Miyuki Japanese glass seed beads. On top, I have the size 8-0 in the jet black opaque. And then in this size 11-0, it looks like this is the semi-frosted pale blue. Really gorgeous. It's got the opaque lining, but the transparent glass and that light sapphire shade and that light colored lining, really making that color pop. In our next bag, we have a selection of the 8mm size Potomac beads micro-faceted seamless mirror rounds in the silver plated color. And this is a pack with 10 included. So these are just a really bright and shiny silver bead with the facetings. So they provide all those different reflective surfaces for the light to gleam off of. And even though they're 8mm, they're pretty hollowed out, so they're not that heavy, which I think is a good thing. You probably don't want to have a lot of extra weight around your neck in particular if you don't need to. And then we get to our next bag containing the matte check glass 5mm round beads, and I received the color called Montana, which almost appears black in this bag. So this time we have a selection of the very versatile 5mm size round beads, and as we're looking at them outside of the bag, they look like a really frosty, smoky dark gray color. A lot of times the Montana, it can have a bluish or a very slightly greenish look, also combined with gray. So depending on if you're holding these up to the light or not, they may take on a little bit more of a greenish or bluish appearance. But overall, they're pretty dark and have the frosty exterior. Up next is our bag of 6mm druzy agate rounds in blue iris. Here we go. So we have these electroplated stone beads that are very dark underneath that finish style, which gives us a lot of the blues and some green and golden tones with some little ribbons of purple as you get closer to the hole. And every once in a while you see some of those little druzy spots right there. Those are those rougher but extra sparkly little areas that show up not on all of the beads, but on some of them and make them fun to try and spot. Also on the surface, we have some areas that are a little bit rougher and some areas that are smoother, so some slight variations in the texture. Our next bag contains the 2mm Potomac crystal faceted round beads in metallic blue iris. These little tiny rounds, not skimping on the sparkle factor, even though they are so small. They also have a very vibrant shade of deep royal blue with some hints of purple that pop up in some areas, and that faceting making them extra sparkly as well. So as we can see already, there's all different sizes of round beads that they've included. And I do like the fact that they're not including all the same size and also not all the same type. So we have a little bit of crystal added with a little bit of stone added with pearl. So we're getting a varied selection, which means, at least in my opinion, it is nice to try and put things together from the monthly selection when you're getting items from across the spectrum like that. Next up, we have a bag containing the 5 to 8mm lapis lazuli stone bead chips. This is such a stunning stone. These have a very highly pigmented blue color overall with some variations in the shade, and also some areas that you can see have spots of gray, black, and some other neutrals that are combined in these very organic shapes that have been smoothed out for the most part, but left in the variety of sizes and shapes, all sitting between the 5 and 8mm sizes, some being a little bit thicker than others. And another great compliment to a lot of these round beads, getting something like the gemstone chips, which give us a high degree of texture that really sets them off. Next on the list, we have some of our finding components. These are the twisted barrel screw clasps, and this is a pack of 5 with the silver plating that is very bright and light. So that elongated barrel shape, of course, just twists together right at the center. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that style of clasp. And you'll find that the metallic items that come in these boxes generally coordinate for the particular month. So we're seeing a lot of the bright silver this time around. Next month might be something different. So they do tend to switch it up, not just in the color palette for the beads, but also for the findings as well, but also coordinate them with the monthly theme so you can end up putting multiple things together, findings-wise as well. And back to the beads, our next bag contains 2 of the check glass large ovals. So these are opaque black, and the size isn't provided, but they are quite sizable. One would be definitely sufficient if you wanted to incorporate this as a pendant or focal component of some kind. And I've just got one tipped on its side so you can see the whole location there and the thickness of these ovals. I also think due to their shape and the flat surface area that they have, they'd be a great candidate for wire wrapping for those of you who are really talented and love to work with wire, especially since you wouldn't be covering up too much since these are just a flat, opaque black surface, but they'd provide a really nice backdrop to some bright silver wire or something along those lines, I think. And then we have a strand of the check glass long bicone beads. And we can see these are also in opaque black. So we're starting to see some black mixed with the large amount of shades of blue in the palette, adding some of that darkness to our dark night theme. So it looks like there's about 11 of these beads on the strand in total. Their elongated shape would probably combine really well too with those large ovals we just looked at. And of course the opaque black coordinates well too, but could go with so many different things, being a classic neutral that it is. And this also giving us a different shape and size to work with, deviating from the rounds a little bit, with these having the elongated shape and the additional angles. And now we have a bag that contains the matte Jet AB colored star beads. These are another pressed check glass shape. And on one side you have that AB coating that shows up with the more metallic and colorful glow, with some beads looking more golden and with some having more of a bluish cast. The other side showing that matte jet black color that makes up the entire star shape. And then down here you can see the whole location going right through the center of that star shape and out through the top. And then in addition to the one-hole beads, sometimes we see multi-hole bead shapes as well. This is a bag containing the PieDuo shape in metallic sea blue. So here are our slices of pie, and I believe about 4 of those could come together to make a circular round shape, but they can be put together, of course, in all different ways. They have 2 holes there that you can see running up and down through the bead from the rounded base portion and out through either side along the pointed top. So if you've never worked with these before, they'd be a fun option for some bead weaving. I know Potomac Beads has a lot of examples of these in use. And I also have a tutorial that incorporates these that I did a little while back, and I'll try to link that for you in the corner if you're interested. Here's some lighter pastel or sky blue showing up in the check flat sliced nugget beads. It says they're a 15mm size, and as you can see, there's 5 pieces in the bag. So these add a little bit of lighter, brighter, airy quality of color to the deeper, darker shades that we have. Another flatter shape, but also not entirely round, with the slight irregularities we see making up that outer portion. And then there is the whole location going right through there and up through the center. We also get some accessories included sometimes to go along with the beads and findings. And for this month, it's falling out a little bit down there, but we have these stainless steel tweezers. I'll just go ahead and take these out of the package. It's a very simple but handy item to have. They have the very narrow pointed tongs and a protector there for you too. You'll want to make sure you keep that on because they do come to quite a point, but that is the point, if you pardon my pun, because that makes them handy to use for some really tight spaces. Maybe you want to grab onto a bead and not disturb a bunch of other things. Maybe you have some beads laid out, for example, in an intricate design and they're not quite put together yet, but you need to move some things around. You don't want to knock everything else over. You can use these tweezers for that and a whole lot of other uses. And then our final bag contains the 4mm premium silver plated brass smooth round spacer beads, a pack of 100. And these are incredibly bright and shiny and very smooth like it says. Those silica gel packets that they've been putting in these boxes I think also do a great job to help keep a lot of these silver findings and components that we've been getting in that bright silver tone. So when you're storing these, you might want to keep that in mind, keep these in an airtight container or in a way just to help reduce the moisture, humidity that is around them, and they should be able to retain that color for the long haul. We have a very versatile group of items again this month, I think, and in particular, I would probably recommend this subscription to a beader who loves to have a lot of project ideas that are already there and available for you to fall back on with these items. So for example, Potomac Beads, they've got, I don't know how many thousand tutorials. I'm pretty sure it's over like 1,500 and growing all the time. So lots of ideas there, as well as specific ideas that they're putting together that pertain to these specific boxes. So if you're somebody who wants some tutorials to follow or ideas all ready to go, this way you get your beads and you can also feel comfortable that there's some ideas to fall back on that you can use these in right away or very soon. I'll also see what I can put together from this month's selection. I did do a tutorial for January's and February's as well, so we'll see if I can go 3 for 3 with the Potomac Beads box. And like I said, this is just one of their subscriptions. The other one contains actual kits with patterns and the materials you need to make those patterns, at least 2 of those every month. But you can check out all the details of their 2 different subscription options on their website, which you can find the link for right down below the video. They have different options for you as far as lengths of time to sign up. And they do ship worldwide. That cost will depend on your location. And if you're in the US, the shipping is included in the price of the box at no additional charge. So as usual, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this subscription. If you have any ideas pertaining to the bead shapes you see below or anything else you'd like to say. Also give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it or you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel while you're here so you'll be notified when I come back with future tutorials, finished jewelry updates, and other future videos where you may find some of these beads popping up. And also feel free to share the video wherever you like. That's all I have for now. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day. And until next time, happy beading.